This is Michael Popok, Legal AF. Attorney generals around the country are not sitting idly by to go after the fake electors. And now Ginni Thomas, the wife of Clarence Thomas, the head of multiple conservative right-wing MAGA think tanks, those that support Federalist Society approach the Supreme Court, do business in front of her husband's court. She's in hot water again because now the Michigan Attorney General, Dana Nessel, who I reported on in an earlier Hot Week last week, is going after 16 fake electors, and by extension, we can likely see Ginni Thomas being given a hard look by the Michigan Attorney General, the Arizona Attorney General, Chris Mays, and other Attorney Generals of the other 5 battleground states because of her role wearing the Ginni Thomas, wife of a Supreme Court justice hat, in trying to influence the outcome of the election, interfere with the election results, steal the election for Donald Trump and deliver it to him on a silver platter with forged and phony fake elector certificates. She wasn't the architect of the plan, but she was a big-time supporter, Ginni Thomas, of John Eastman, the lawyer, crackpot constitutional law scholar that devised, along with Peter Navarro, the fake elector scheme implemented by Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and others like Ginni Thomas. So let's back up and talk about the Michigan fake elector Attorney General indictment, the Arizona Attorney General investigation, and where Ginni Thomas sits in the middle of both those Venn diagrams of prosecutions. Michigan first, as I reported earlier in the week, 16 fake electors, including some of the most senior GOP Republican leadership executives and operatives in Michigan have been indicted because they all got together in a basement, not making this stuff up, and secretly, because they made it secret with some sort of pinky swear pact, got in a room, signed the certificate, and then tried to submitted it to the National Archives. And then, as part of the fake elector scheme led by Donald Trump and his on-the-ground operatives, bring it to Mike Pence as the president of the Senate, have him recognize that and the other 7 battleground states' fake electoral certificates to throw the election and steal it from Joe Biden and give it to Donald Trump. That was the plan. You can see how well this plan went because I'm doing a hot take about it, about people being indicted as a result. Those people got into that basement, those 16 fake electors. They included 2 of them with link backs to Ginni Thomas. Kathy Burden is on the Republican National Committee as a committee person. She's also very close to Ronna McDaniels, the head of the RNC and the niece of Mitt Romney. And you also have in there one last person, Michonne Maddock. Michonne Maddock is the former co-chair of the Republican Party in Michigan. She's also a fake elector, and both of them link back to Ginni Thomas. We know what Ginni Thomas did. Probably the best example of it is in Arizona. She wrote to 29 elected officials and election officials in Arizona, some directly in email, some through an online platform called Free Roots, and basically threatened these election officials to say that the election was stolen from Donald Trump, that they, as a part of the legislative branch in that state, in Arizona, for instance, had the right to choose electors, even if the popular vote was against them, and that they needed to stay strong and ensure a clean slate of electors. And we'll put up on the screen on the hot take one just such email that she sent. That's Ginni Thomas. At one point back when she testified to the Jan 6 committee last summer, we only thought she made contact with 2 people in Arizona. Turned out we were off by 27. She contacted 29 people in positions of power in Arizona, and she did the same thing in Michigan, and she did the same thing in all the other battleground states. So these attorney generals who are properly flexing their muscle to try to find a way to thread the needle, or as I like to say, put a camel through the eye of a needle, to avoid running headlong into Jack Smith's federal prosecution, but give them a lane that they can stay in, color within that line, and go after their residents in their particular state, primarily about the fake elector scandal, as Jack Smith tries to, in an elastic way, wrap federal criminal law and conspiracy law around all of the battleground states and the use of fake electors by Donald Trump, which he will, while still giving oxygen and breathing room to each individual attorney general, like Dana Nessel, Attorney General Nessel, Attorney General Mays in Arizona. But the heart of this hot take, the hottest part, is Ginni Thomas's involvement. The Jan 6 committee gave her a pass. She came in, she gave testimony not under oath. It was never revealed. We didn't see the video clips during the hearing. She did come in for 3 or 4 hours. Donald Trump put out a social media post that said, she's a great American, love Ginni Thomas. Thank you for, whatever. Thank you for your service. But she did not testify under oath in the way that all the other witnesses did. Jack Smith hasn't yet brought her in. But if I'm a betting man, and I am, the people that are going to bring her in into justice and to investigate them are attorneys general, just like Chris Mays in Arizona and Dana Nessel in Michigan, because it all ties perfectly into their fake elector investigation and indictment. And even though the indictment is already out, for instance, in Michigan, it doesn't mean the investigation is over. Or as attorneys general like to say, the investigation is ongoing. And it is, because you can always supersede or amend or come up with a new set of indictments to bring in somebody like Ginni Thomas. So Ginni Thomas, you can expect there's going to be a knock on your door by a state investigator who's going to ask you from one of these battleground states to sit down and give sworn testimony. And if they have more than that, then we're talking about either an immunity deal or prosecution. This is incredible. I mean, I say it with like a flat delivery. We're talking about a associate justice of the Supreme Court's wife who was trying to overthrow America by lobbying elected officials, right? To, as Ginni Thomas is known to have told Mark Meadows, that this, in her view, the win by Joe Biden, the greatest heist in history. And we have to stand strong and find a way to give Donald Trump what's rightfully his. Ginni Thomas's paraphrased words, not mine. And so this is the cult-like approach that Ginni Thomas had. No surprise, she was once in a cult. You can look it up, and broke her way out of that cult. It was a mind control cult. We'll leave it at that. And she found another cult, the cult of MAGA and Donald Trump. And because, everybody else attacked her husband when he was confirmed for the Senate because they said he was a sex abuser, and brought in all the testimony, that made her very, very right-wing MAGA cuckoo crazy, which, when we didn't have the potential overthrow of America, that was just an interesting footnote to history. But when we almost toppled democracy at the hands of Donald Trump, this close, my fingers for those that listen on audio are very close together, then people like Ginni Thomas should not get a free pass, and investigators and prosecutors, state level at least, should be looking at her. We're looking at her on hot takes just like this one, only where? On the MeidasTouch Network. You knew that. You're watching me here. You can watch whatever I do by free subscribing to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel. Slide over to playlists and you'll find all of my hot takes. There's about 270 of them in that library, because I do them about every day, if not every hour, if the need presents itself. Then we pull together all of the best stories at the intersection of U.S. law and politics, politically charged litigation matters, and we call it Legal AF on a podcast about an hour and a half long on the MeidasTouch Network, on YouTube, and every place you get your audio podcasts. You can follow me, Michael Popok, every place you get social media from, including now Threads, at MS Popok. This is Michael Popok, Legal AF reporting.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram, at MeidasTouch, to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.